Hello again, all you citizens of the web. Today I'll be talking to you about a discussion I had with my pre-AP British Literature class about rubrics. This is the project which I presented to them. This is in draft form. This is a tic-tac-toe assignment which is designed as a culminating assessment for Frankenstein. And you can see that there are 3 columns and several activities which they can choose from in each column, and all I've done so far as a rubric is just say that each one is going to be worth 50 points for a total of 150 points. And then there'll be another 50-point assessment which will be a written essay. But when I talked to them about this, what I kind of presented to them was, I've been talking to them a lot about how I feel. The way I put it frequently is that rubrics are the way that smart kids do as little as possible. And the fact that if I were to make a rubric for each of these, first of all, it would be pages and pages long. And second of all, it would give them sort of, the right to figure out how to get the points that they want and not to do any more. Whereas I think for gifted students, a lot of times, and intelligent students, and actually all students, a lot of times, given the opportunity to do more, they would. Whereas when they get a rubric, they tend to sort of just play the numbers game and give as little as possible. And that's really what I got from them, that they would be more interested in having it sort of open-ended and sort of having a set of guidelines and a set of standards to meet for whichever ones of these that they choose, without having a sort of breakdown of the numbers as far as what they should include. And these assignments are pretty straightforward, and they're also pretty explicit. Create a Venn diagram to compare and contrast Victor and the creature. Be sure to include quotes to support your comparison. In an assignment like that, it's sort of straightforward what's supposed to be there, and I suppose I could give them a minimum number of requirements, but what I'm really looking for is depth of thought. So that's where and presentation is part of this project too. So that's where the points are going to come from, and I think I can create, whether it looks like a rubric or not, something that gives them that depth of thought without saying five points of comparison and 5 points of contrast for full points, which means that they won't do any more than that, or 10, which means that they would do 10 and no more if they wanted to, or they would say, well, I can get a B if I do 7, which is what a lot of them like to do. So that was a kind of an interesting conversation, and really it kind of came down to them, to some extent, putting trust in themselves and in my judgment of the quality of their work, without having a number assessment for each sort of quality. So that's maybe counterintuitive with regards to our discussions of rubrics, but is I think more true than not a lot of the time, that gifted kids, when they see a rubric, they just go through the motions. But if they're given the opportunity to be creative and think outside the box, I mean, a rubric literally is a set of boxes, and to think outside the box and to do their own thing, that they give it a little bit more thought, that they might allow their mind to do things that don't appear on the rubric, to go above and beyond the assignment. So when I create this, and we'll see how it comes out, when I create the rubric, it will be more explicit than what I have, but I think it'll be open-ended to a great extent, and try to create a rubric that doesn't limit what they can do or limit the types of ideas that they bring to the assignment, since the idea is to get them to think and to connect with the text, and to prove an understanding and an investment in the text is really the way that I told them that this is going down. So, all in all, a successful talk.